S1 that Jack is restoring. We're with Ralph. Ralph, you did all the mechanical restoration on this one, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so take us through, because we haven't gotten underneath this one yet.
Well, it appears to be a 41 to 46 Ford. I'm going to think it's a truck, the way the control arms look and the wishbones. But that's what it started out as. It has the 53 style motor, the last series of the flathead motor, and has this standard banjo rear end that would have been in this model car in 41 to 46.
There's the banjo. Cool. Well, what do we have for wheels on this one? Is it?
We don't have the wheels done yet. We haven't decided yet.
Because I know the wide fives. I've been learning a lot about the wide fives as far as strength goes versus the standard wheel. I just wasn't sure what he was planning on putting on these. So wheels are still to be decided.
Well, this isn't a wide 5.
Right.
This is just 5 on 5.5.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Okay.
I think wide 5 was only used like a couple of years, maybe 36 or 7 or something. I'm not sure.
It's just straight pipe with what, cherry bomb mufflers?
Yeah. We kind of just used pieces to build it. And so there was no plan for the exhaust. I have no idea what he wanted. Really no way to get it up in the frame because of the way they did everything back then.
Everything's pretty tight through there.
Yeah.
Did you do the floor pans?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Is that Rob or somebody else?
Rob had to do it because it left here without him.
Okay.
I think it originally had plywood in it.
I think that's right. Yeah, I remember him saying that. I just couldn't remember who actually did the underside work here. All right, cool. Let's lower it down and see what we got. All right, so we'll give a good overview here. A little dusty because you've been working, obviously. You know what the seats are out of?
I have no idea. That was another Robbie thing or whoever Robbie's dealing with.
It almost kind of look like basketballs.
That's what I thought.
The texture and the color. Now you did the dash, right?
Yeah.
So now how do you, I know you've got that method down, so walk me through how you get the dash looking that good.
It's just a Scotch-Brite wheel you put up in the drill press. You just apply moderate pressure for about 5 seconds per circle. Draw a guideline on there, and once you got the guideline, you just continue to do the same overlap all the way across. It takes a couple hours.
That was going to be my next question, how long it takes. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He kept this. This is 3 on the tree, right?
Yeah. And when we got it back, it was all froze up. Evidently, it had been wet.
Oh,
so we had to take the whole column apart and make it work. And Jack wanted a smaller steering wheel, and I couldn't come up with nothing, so I made that one.
Oh, really?
It was a deep dish, and I cut it back and flattened it out so you could get underneath it. I can't get underneath it because my legs are messed up now, but my help drove it.
Flathead, of course. Oh, was this? I don't remember. Was this motor with the car, or did you guys source this one?
I don't remember.
That's all right.
We do too many. I can't remember who got what. I think Jeff got it from that guy in Lakeland that he buys them from, but I'm not sure.
You do the grill on this one too?
No, that's a Robbie deal. Okay. Ready?
Yep. What do you have left to do mechanically on it?
Nothing.
Nothing, all wrapped up?
It's all done.
What did you have to button up after Rob took care of the paint?
The dash, the gauges, the water leaks,
What? Oh, Stuart Warner. Cool.
finish the lights, hood prop, do little things.
Nice dash. Beautiful dash.
You seen the one for the Lancer yet?
No.
It's in there all made.
Really? Oh, let's go take a look at that.
It's not gauged yet, but it's
Let's take
ready.
a look at least the...
We got to.
This is beautiful.
We have to put the fasten the tabs in the Lancer body before I gauge it because I don't want the gauges getting messed up.
Has Jack seen it? You sent some pictures to him?
Huh?
Have you sent pictures to Jack?
I might have sent one on my flip phone.
I'll send him a couple. Ralph, can you get over there on that side? I'm going to take a picture of you with the car. The dashboard is a piece of art.
This is a steering wheel that I made from a deep dish.
Turn it a little bit so it squares up.
Yeah, that's as straight as it'll go as far as
That's right.
driving because of the keyway. It's not splined, it's keywayed.
Wow. Sounded great. I mean, that was all your work. You want to take us through an update on the Lancer here? Last time I saw the body was on.
It was in little pieces, right?
Well, no, that was the first time I saw it, and then you had the body on. So actually, this is great because now we can really see the Irwin design box chassis here. What have we last? Like I said, last time I saw it, you had the floors done and the body on. So I'm sure a lot has changed, but what do you got going on with the chassis?
Well, nothing's changed since you were here last, except that we finished. I pre-wired the back half, put the shocks on, and today we started on the exhaust. The exhaust is going to go out the side and run the length of the chassis under the body, and we're going to try a straight pipe one on this because a couple of curves and a distance it won't be loud at all. Flatheads don't have a lot of mumble. And the floor pan's actually. This whole floor is actually removable with the body off. The whole thing comes out. It's all been finished on the bottom and glassed in. It's sealed on the bottom. And then the body sits on top of this and pinches down. The whole body pinches down on these mounts all the way around.
Nice.
And the drive shaft, I mean the transmission tunnel comes completely off. So we still got to get a speedo cable, get it through there and out the front. So that way you can service the hydraulic clutch and the brake light switch by just pulling this cover off.
Yeah, it makes it way easy.
This was a feat of engineering in itself.
How did you end up getting that so dialed in? I mean, it looks great. A couple trial runs?
My help made that. Lots of cardboard and duct tape. Shaped it. I think he did an excellent job.
Yep. Where do we get the tank? Is this just a Speedway part?
No, it's from Tanks, the company Tanks.
Oh, all right. Aptly named.
I'm trying not to use the Chinese ones. I mean, they're probably Chinese anyway, but it's by an American company.
Oh, there it is. What do we have for rear end in this one?
The whole entire drivetrain would be 50 to 53 Ford. The rear end's 53 Ford, or 50 to 53. The motor's 53. The front frame clip, we cut the Studebaker off the front because it was pretty much destroyed.
I remember, yeah. It was pretty hammered.
This is the original part of the frame. This part of the frame we salvaged just by adding bracing to it. And I'm sure you took a picture of the floor structure before.
I did, yeah.
There was nothing in there before,
right.
But plywood and fiberglass.
Cool.
So because of the way the floor is lowered to the bottom half of the chassis, there's really not a good place to run the exhaust. And without,
I see the problem.
if you look at the car, it looks like the exhaust came out here and was on the exterior of the car. See this hole?
Yeah, yeah.
So I routed the exhaust in the same direction, but instead of going through the body on the outside, we put it underneath this gap, the body here. So we put 2-inch pipe underneath there, left enough air gaps where you're never going to know it's there.
Great.
And we can wrap it with with exhaust wrap, and take some of the noise out of it just by doing that, and the heat.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do that too.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I don't know if you had the firewall last time.
No, we didn't have a firewall last time you were here. It was just the shell in two pieces. So we had to put a steel structure in here to have something to fasten to the chassis. So Gary glassed all this in. That piece, that angle piece there, is an original piece of the car that was there, which actually bolts to these posts now.
Oh, okay.
So the original piece bolts to here. This is how we started putting it back together. We started with these posts going to that angle, and then added the firewall. And we're laying glass on the inside of everything where there's damage, where the hinges were damaged and that side was damaged. And
always doing the repairs from the backside so you don't impact body
and
lines.
then there was nothing left back here by the time it came off the chassis. You saw it just fell apart.
Right.
So we've got it turned over now, so we can close this gap, finish sealing this up. And we have to glass the pieces in that hold the dash in place. We got to coat the backside of that firewall, and coat the backside of this. And this,
is this Kusa board or is that something different?
what do you call it?
Kusa board?
I call it fiber board or wafer board, but it really is not a wafer.
Yeah, I think Kusa board has got like channels in it. It's almost like corrugated cardboard, but it's fiberglass.
That's more of a plastic product for if you wanted to do curves and stuff.
I see.
We haven't actually had to use a lot of that.
That's better for flat. So did he do that channeled stuff for the curved pieces, or did he do that on a flat too?
All flat.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, the tunnel we made over the top of a welding bottle. So you just tape up a welding bottle and lay the glass on it, cut it off.
Ingenious.
Anything you can find a shape, you can do that with.
Yeah.
I think that the transmission cover, he actually used pieces of a bucket, cut them and sliced them and used them for a mold to get his general shape.
Very creative.
But this is the weak part of the car, where this little area right here where the back of the car and the rocker panel goes together. So this whole area was just a cobbled up. All this has been replaced because there was nothing left but a little piece of skin.
Yeah, they just slopped the glass.
They just flopped it over everything when it stuck. Like, for instance, today when we roll this car over, it's separated right here. And we had to glass this back together because it was just flopping around. Oh, it's separated over there too. I'll show you. You just see here?
Oh, yeah.
This whole area just separated, and that's how basically the whole car came apart. It just undid itself. So we'll glass that back in place and hope it fits back on the chassis. After it's back on the chassis, we'll reinforce this whole corner here and get it all glassed in. Can't do it now because it's got to go back in the right shape. I don't know what to do with the wheel wells because they were actually molded with some funky shape. So I'll leave that up to the glass man.
I'm sure we'll get creative finding something else to use as the basis there.
I don't see why it even needs them. It's not like it's going to go out in the rain.
True. And these are mounting points up here that correspond to the
yeah.
Did you add? Were these added and those added?
Yeah, those had to be added because we cut the front clip off.
Right.
The original Studebaker was pretty much rotted away.
But they didn't have these vertical risers on the previous clip, did they?
These?
Yeah, the square tubing.
This? Don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it's got to help with the stability, add the stability a lot.
It didn't have nothing out here neither.
Right. Yeah, I remember distinctly because I remember shortly after you had it off the chassis in pieces, you were showing me a piece that basically got stuck to the frame, and it was they just kind of crammed it.
Yeah,
full of
all these lightning holes.
Yeah.
All the fiberglass actually molded down in and was just all kind of irregular, stuffed in the holes.
Yeah, not great adhesion.
I mean, just because it went in the holes, it held it in place.
Is the motor out of
50 to 53 Ford.
Okay. Do you know when they moved away from the crab distributors?
49 to 50 was like 49 to 53 was like this, or 50 to 53. So 48 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of doing the heat wrap on this too. This way, you don't have to worry about fiberglass.
Yeah, well, you ain't gonna have to worry about the fiberglass anyway because there's plenty of air. But we're gonna wrap the whole thing when we get done. When we figure out where the tailpipe's gonna go, I mean where the turnout's gonna go, we'll take the pipe off and paint it and wrap it and put it back in. This was all these bins came in a kit, and I found 2 kits. So well, I think we can make that work. And Gary began cutting today, and there it is.
Nice. It's really coming along.
This actually fastens that piece of angle I showed you. That piece of angle in there is original. So there was something in here originally, but I don't remember what. That angle bolts here, and then we have to bolt it here to keep it from doing this, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you got what, 5, 6.
Yeah, they haven't even been drilled in that yet.
Yeah.
I don't even know how. I don't even know how it was, where the pedals were originally.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sturdy.
And again, I don't remember what the Studebaker frame clip looked like, but we had to lay the radiator down like we have to do a lot of them to use that long flex stainless hose and get it up there. We use that on the bottom of that one.
Yeah, just to get that low clearance.
Yeah.
The deck lid.
Of course, this one won't be able to have the air cleaners on it again because of its height.
Yeah, unless they added some. I mean, how?
Unless they put a bubble in the hood.
Yeah, I mean, how far up would these come where the current hood level is?
The hood's probably going to be right about there.
No, I mean, you could put a pretty moderate scoop on that without it being obnoxious.
Well, have you ever seen the teardrop bubble they made back in the day?
I don't know.
Turtle shell.
Oh. That's appropriate.
Okay. I bought an English wheel, and inside of 2 hours, I learned how to use it, and I made this for a demo.
Nice.
And I actually sold one to air conditioning company. They put an air conditioner in a tractor for the county, and to put the air conditioner in, they had to move the alternator outside the cowling.
Okay.
So they cut a big hole in the side of the cowling, had the alternator hanging out. So he says, "Can you fix that?" So I took this and I showed him. He goes, "Oh, that's good. Make one of those." So we took one of these and we actually covered it, but we cut the backside of it out so when they mowed the grass and the trees and bushes hit it, it wouldn't get hung up in the alternator.
Smart.
So the backside was open for the air to go through. But yeah, that was my first test ride on an English wheel.
Oh, turned out pretty great.
Don't
But
get
you've
much.
got great skills already. So
I don't get much calling for that kind of stuff, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. Sweet. What else? So I mean, those holes will get glassed in, right? Because you're not taking the exhaust straight out anymore. So those are good.
I'm just assuming that's what they were there for originally.
That makes sense to me.
And if you looked at the outside of the car, there was a series of holes. It looked like it may have held a big lake pipe or something. See these holes?
Yeah.
They weren't fastened to nothing. So you got to look like the exhaust might have come out and might have had a big lake pipe coming down here. There's two more. See the two holes here?
There.
Remember them big long lake pipes you guys would have put on vans back in the 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. I just hit it on the inside. So.
Well, the weight of that pipe mounted probably didn't help anything along that sill with all the cracking and snapping. I forgot it's got that little kind of sweetheart shape.
Yeah, it's actually cut into the steel part of the frame.
Yeah, I remember that now.
So this little edge right here is cut. So
You're seeing a little bit further back. Every inch and a half inch counts in these things.
The thing I didn't like about it, which if we'd had a seat to go with, we could have changed the way the frame rails come through here. So I think that's about 16 inches. So that's a small seat, like a race seat. And think it's about the same on both sides.
Yeah.
Or it could be made just with a pad and a back without an actual seat.
They didn't have to worry about fitting hips in there.
Yeah.
I got into the seats the guy had in his buyers, and it was like 15 inches wide. It felt like I needed to get pried out with a crowbar.
You could get your butt in that?
I don't remember if I could. I think I started trying, and then I was so afraid I'd never be able to get out again. I just aborted. I was like, nope, not going.
Yeah. I've had that problem with them too.
And then the McCormick, I think the McCormick is just about where it was the last time I saw it. Actually, I don't know if you have the motor in it. I remember you had it off the old fence post chassis. And I think you had it on the G-body chassis already.
Yeah. I actually don't like the motor where it is, so I'm going to raise it up another inch or two. Okay. Because by the time I'd like the whole car to sit like this, like it is now with flat tires on it.
Yeah, like this.
So I need to raise the motor up a couple inches because when I put this, I'm going to put a lowering kit on the front, and the back's easy. It's hard. It's really hard to get some of these cars on the ground, like they like them.
Yeah. What motor is in this?
The motor that came in the Pontiac,
okay.
301.
You don't really need much.
It's a built 301. It was freshly done for the Grand Prix, and the guy we bought the Grand Prix was headed to do the body work. He got the new motor, the new transmission, and ran out of money, so it sat in his backyard, and then we ended up buying it. It was a nice running car. We drove it here.
I realized, I knew it had these door panels in here. It's actually not half bad.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was riveted aluminum and conduit and fence post and
whatever they had lying around.
Could have been brand new stuff for all we know back in the day, but 50 years later in the weather, it kind of looks like a 50-year-old fence.
Yep. Can we go take a look at your model for the dash in the Lancer? Well, so you did start doing the turn.
Yeah. I said I didn't put the gauges in.
Oh, I see.
We made a backing out of that board that we use for all the floors, and because it's an awful big piece to be hanging by itself.
Yeah.
So it still has to have the ignition switch, a headlight switch, and maybe a fan switch. I'll decide that after I get it back in the car.
So what are you thinking for
cutouts for your legs, and the steering column goes through. What was you gonna say?
What's the gauge setup? You got speedo and attack. What else?
All the regular gauges that speedo, attack, oil, temperature. It's a whole set. Like Jack likes the wing set.
Oh, the Stewart Warner.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm coming back here.
The wing set.
Oh, I see. Those look good.
You never been back here?
No, I didn't even realize there was a back.
You never seen my race stuff?
No.
I own the Kawasaki repair shop. That's the funny bike that went 200 miles an hour on gas 40 years ago. And my street bike with two Kawasaki 1000s they just sold at Meacham.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah. Pretty cool. When did you build that one?
1979, 200 mile an hour, remember? They only gave out like half a dozen of these. My one and only cover of the Pro Star magazine when I went 200, number one qualifier, and that was what I went there for. Didn't win, but I had a ball. I got in the book. The whole world stopped that day.
Sure, I've done a lot.
I just got goosebumps from head to toe. Just like that day.
All right, so this is your limo, parts of your limo.
Yeah, that's the front end, the rear end. This is the windshield that opens and closes on the passenger compartment. I had to make this from other Model A parts because the normal one has a curve in it to fit the cowl.
Right.
So that's all handmade, redone. Henry Ford would have called this a town car, a chauffeur-driven town car. But I couldn't find one, and I didn't want one his way anyway. So this is the front half of a 1930 Model A Roadster. This part's been extended about 6 or 8 inches. Had to hand make this part to splice it into the 31 model four-door sedan. This part of the car was his most luxurious car. It was the slant window model. All the side windows actually rolled up and down. There was no stationary windows in the sides. So I've grafted it together, built my own chassis. It's going to be open-wheeled, hot rod style. It's not going to have fenders. It's not going to have running boards, but it's going to be a thrill ride. It's got a small block Chevy with a turbo on it with a 750 Holley carburetor, 9-inch Ford rear end. It's going to be all black and probably going to have either white metal flake interior or white pearl interior like a limo would have today. I have a bar built for it. I'll show you that in a minute for the guest. And the top's been filled with a 1950 Ford, which was leftover parts from that car over there we just visited. It has a brand new wood kit in here from the aftermarket people. I only had to add a 1/4 inch to the top of the ribs to make it fit the 50 Ford roof. I hand built all the subframes, all the subfloors, all the floor panels. The whole entire car was made out of throwaway. I bought this whole front end part from a swap meet in Georgia. It had been ripped off of a car with a wrecker. The whole front end, they latched onto it right here with a chain and ripped it off. The bottoms of it was ripped where the bolts were. The whole thing was distorted. The price was right, and I saved it. What was I going to show you?
You got about 300 hours into it?
I got 300 hours in just the metal work and the body work.
That's great. Oh, you're going to show me the bar next?
Huh?
The bar for the back?
Oh, yeah. And it's going to, like I said, it's going to start out with the 32. The grill shell's 32, and it has a turbocharged motor that I made all out of swap meet junk. It's got a 32 gas tank on the back, and we hand built a stainless steel bar that hangs here. I already have a wedding company that wants to rent the car for weddings. It's a guy I know has a wedding chapel thing at his house, and it's all old car themed. It's got old gas station gas pumps and old cars, and they let people sit in the cars, take photographs, and or drive them to and from the airport or the hotels. And I've already got a chance to do that. So this is your still got the cover on the polished stainless steel. So you got the skull decanter and the skull shot glasses.
There you go. That's very creative.
So we're gonna not have any particular theme. It's gonna have the original vase in the back with the roses in it. It's gonna have some copper. It's gonna have some brass. It's gonna have stainless steel. It's gonna have the skull theme. I might even spider web the roof. You know how they did the lace, but I use spider web instead of lace. Because I've been known to do that.
Very cool.
This is basically a copy of what Brookville makes for Model A, except I had to make it longer, of course, because nothing fit. And this is the extension to put the 32 gas tank on the back. Otherwise, this would be the end of the car right here. This is the extension for the 32 gas tank. And the rest of it's all handmade. This was 5-inch box tubing I cut right here and tapered it back down to the taper that a Model A would have had in the front, so I could put the horns on the front. So if people look at it, they're going to think, oh, that began as an original Model A, because they're going to see these holes for the fenders and the bumper brackets. But there's nothing original about it. It's just all bought from this metal store. This time next week it'll be in color, and we'll be rolling the suspension back under it. And 2 or 3 weeks after that, if nothing happens, we'll have the color on the car, and it'll be bolted back together. 14 feet long now. A normal Model A is not quite that long.
Guess not.
A normal Model A goes from about, well, I'll show you the red one I built up front.
Okay, so this is the one we're comparing the limo to?
Yeah, wheelbase wise, they're both standard, so, and that one out there is 14 inches longer than this one.
Cool. Well, here's your ute.
Has he seen this now?
Huh?
Has he seen recent?
Only pictures. He said, I like it, but I can't afford it. This is all handmade from the door back.
Wow.
The quarter panels were, I told him what I wanted, my sheet metal guy. I showed him a picture of a Studebaker that I saw with these quarter panels that curve like that. And 2 months later, this is what I got.
Nice.
The rear fenders, you can't buy a rear fender to bolt onto that quarter panel, so we had to, I took a 32 Ford coupe fender, fiberglass one,
Mm-hmm.
and made it fit that quarter panel.
Nice.
It's got 10 quarter-inch screws with inserts going inside it to hold just the fender on. So we handmade the fender, handmade the bed, everything from the door back. These are all brand new. This is original, this is original, this is original, that's aftermarket, and that's aftermarket. Ain't a whole lot original.
Well, it makes it easier to customize that way, I guess.
You gotta mask it up and spray that grill on that radiator. I ran out of paint and I just gave up at that point.
I don't know, I've seen.
Black are you gonna do in maroon? What will the color of the radiator be? Black or?
Black, yeah. This one started out as a pair of doors I bought at a swap meet almost 10 years before I built the car. I just bought the doors and all my friends were saying, what are you gonna do with them rusty old doors? So I skinned them, primed them, hung them on the wall. They were wall art for 10 years. And then on a road trip, my last wife and I took to Colorado. I went to Burt's Model A. I bought the upper part of this roof down to here. I stopped at Ricky Bobby's Hot Rod Shop in Tennessee, and I bought this part all the way around to the other door and the subfloors, and it was on from them.
Is it steel, fiberglass?
Steel,
both?
it's all
Okay.
steel, yeah.
Sweet. Very cool.
See, that's how I told you I extended the frame on it. That's
Mhm.
the 32 extension, 32 gas tank.
Got it.
The back of that car is going to look like this. I'm going to put a spare tire on it, and the lights will be protruding out like that, which makes it look even longer. Have you not seen this car?
I don't think so. I remember seeing the last one that kind of had like a, not like a, was it like a tiki theme interior? It was a bamboo.
Tiki theme. That's Johnny's car. The last one had a 409 in it.
Maybe that's
a
what I'm
W
thinking
motor.
of.
Remember that big crazy motor? it
Yeah,
had in it?
yeah. That thing
But
was
it
wild.
wasn't fendered. It was open car.
Sweet.
This is kind of what I want to do on the inside of the limo
Yeah.
because it's vinyl, easy to clean. So if you got some drunk in the back puking, or can clean it up easy. So,
There you go.
so
Just hose it down.
I'm getting $500 an hour to drive them. So
That's awesome.
I'll hose it. Factory rebuilt transmission, factory rebuilt motor from Jegs, brand new radiator, brand new alternator, brand new car, everything brand new.
Yeah, nothing to worry about. Just get in.
The only thing I haven't done with it yet is actually tagged it and drove it a mile. I
Is
have to
it-
drive it a mile to program the speedometer. I drove it to the end of the street and back, and
Is it 305, 350?
it's a 305. It's a little cheaper to buy than the 350. And
Yeah.
I said, like, what's the difference? Who's going to know, and why would you need to?
Yeah.
You know,
In a car like this, yeah, why not?
it might weigh what, 2,000, 2,300 pounds.
Yeah, it'll move just fine.
This one's coming out in a few days because we got a whole bunch of shows coming up. The Enclave is going to have a show next month again. You know what that is? That track like Jack Scott out here on Interstate.
Oh, I saw you post about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that. I'm going to one in Newport Richie, an old school one where they all have Mondelez.
Are you holding on to the gray one for a while, or is
Yeah,
that?
that's my main keeper.
I like the mirrors. What is this, like a Lucite Lexine? The green?
It's an add-on I bought on eBay. I matched it to my
Yeah, the interior.
glass is green, my trim's green.
Very cool.
I got a 44-year-old girlfriend I'm taking to those car shows with me. She's never been to a car show.
What?
Never been.
It's a long time to not go to a car show, ever. I like your hood ornament.
You like that? It's cool, man. Bought that on eBay. I think I paid $30, $40 for it.
Sweet.
Some of my friends call my cars rats.
Right.
Because they're not made out of all new. The guy that built that for me, that car's a rat. But that one's not because it's all new. And he built it, part of it.
That's funny.
Yeah, all Ralph Scott's rat. Rust, no, I'm sorry, he don't call them rat rods. He calls them rust rods. So my license tag says was rust.
That's right. I
You saw
remember
that,
that
right?
one. Yeah. That's a great plate.